there's a skill set that you need to be an illustrator, and there are a lot of skills involved in it. You know, you have to be able to create, you know, a space, people, like emotions on faces. You got to get a likeness sometimes if you're trying to, you know, it depends on the project, but like, but I found that I was looking around at some art exhibits, and there were some beautiful landscape paintings. A lot of them had lighting, of course. And I was intrigued by them. And I thought maybe I'll try my hand at that, or I'll try to kind of combine some of my illustrative stuff in more realistic landscapes. And so I found that the skill set that I needed to make good, successful illustrations wasn't necessarily translating into the fine art, you know, like space. Like it wasn't translating because I had a deficit in certain areas where it was not being read the way I wanted it to be perceived. And that's where it all started, where I thought that I had a good education from my Bachelor of Fine Arts in college. I learned a lot. But at some point you have to acknowledge that you need to take, you know, you got to continue your education. And I was at a loss. Like I didn't really know, you only know what you know. And so I was making these landscapes that I was really trying to make something that looked real. Like I was trying to represent what I saw outside. And the skill set that I had was more of a fantasy one. So it was like, you know, I created magical landscapes and they were great for what I was doing, but they were not translating into something that was believable to the average person. And so I was frustrated. I tried and tried, and I just could not get people to see them, take them seriously. It was like they're so nice and they look like they belong in a children's book. And it was just, that wasn't my intent at all. So it was really frustrating. And at some point along the way, I was like, my husband actually suggested it to me. And he said, you might want to consider taking a workshop with a landscape artist because your education came from an illustration, you know, somebody who had studied that and did that. And there's different kinds of art. If you're going to paint portraits, you get to learn from somebody who does portraits. If you want to paint landscapes, you got to learn from somebody who does that. So that's what I did. That was the, you know, and then of course they say the rest is history, but trust me, it wasn't an overnight success. It was maybe a 10-year thing where I finally learned a little bit of what I'm doing. So I think, yeah, in 2014, I hit my breaking point. I was tired of being rejected from shows. I was getting tired of working for clients, honestly, like on some of these self-published books. I was getting jobs in them, but they micromanaged it. It was just time for me to paint what I felt I wanted to paint and to just kind of take on my personal journey for art that didn't have to do with somebody else's vision. And I did. I signed up for a plein air class, and that was a wake-up call. And that's going from painting from your imagination completely and somebody else's vision to painting what you see outside. And that remains today the hardest thing that I do as an artist. Literally the most challenging thing of anything at all is taking my paint box out in the field and painting what's in front of me. I just did it the other day. It didn't come out with a good painting, but you know what? We move on. We just keep trying to get better at it. Yeah. So that's where I'm at now. Is over the 10 years, I've done a whole series of workshops, a lot of just, you know, self-reflection, trying to figure out how to take my vision, because, you know, we all have our own vision as artists, and how to just kind of create what we want and have it come out the way we envisioned it. Mm. So to bridge the gap between what we want to say and how it's being perceived by everyone else, if it's exactly how we want it to be read. And it's been quite the journey.